Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating experiment from a creator who completely transformed their diet and, honestly, their whole life. But here's the catch. They didn't do it by trying harder, or dragging themselves to the gym twice a day, or meticulously logging every single calorie. No way. They achieved this by trying much, much less. We're going to explore how doing the absolute bare minimum can actually be the ultimate secret to eating well. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with a scenario that I think every single one of us can relate to. Picture this. It's 6 p.m. on a Tuesday. You're standing in your kitchen. You promised yourself you were going to eat healthy this week, right? And you made it 2 whole days. But right now, you are staring down a bag of chips, the exact bag of chips you swore you wouldn't buy. It's been a crazy long day, you tell yourself. Hey, one more won't hurt. And literally 3 minutes later, the bag is totally empty. You just give up on the week's goals. But why does this happen to us every single time?
Well, the answer boils down to this number right here, 50. You see, you haven't failed because you're inherently weak or you just lack discipline. You failed because by 6 p.m., you've likely made 50 exhausting decisions at work. You've answered the emails, you've solved the problems, you've navigated all those meetings. By the time you finally walk through your front door, your brain is simply too tired to make one more good choice. You're completely running on empty.
And this brings us to the actual science behind our creators' struggle. It's called decision fatigue. This is the mental exhaustion that happens when you make way too many choices, which leads directly to terrible decision-making later in the day. This explains exactly why the creator of our source material hit rock bottom, eating a gas station burrito at 10 p.m. They were waking up feeling like garbage, dealing with massive brain fog, crashing at 3 p.m. every day, and needing 2 coffees just to survive until dinner. They realized, okay, something's got to change.
So, to fix this, the creator devised a 30-day experiment that pitted 2 concepts directly against each other. On one side, we have active willpower, that incredibly flawed, exhausting strategy of trying super hard to resist junk food every single day. And on the other side, passive environment design, making one massive change upfront that requires absolutely 0 daily effort moving forward.
To kick off this experiment, we enter Section 1, the kitchen purge, eliminating the option to fail.
Listen, this purge was absolutely ruthless. Chips, cookies, ice cream, a forgotten frozen pizza, even that candy they bought for quote-unquote guests 6 months ago. Absolutely everything went into the trash. The creator even had this moment of negotiation with an unopened bag of their favorite good chips, thinking, I should probably say this for an emergency. But then they realized the truth. Willpower is not unlimited. If you have to look at junk food and actively resist it 10 times a day, your willpower is totally bankrupt by dinner time. So yep, the good chips went in the trash too.
With a completely empty kitchen, it was time for the restock phase, which was highly strategic. We're talking Greek yogurt, bananas, roasted nuts, frozen veggies, chicken breast, eggs, and pre-washed salad greens. The real key here? These are boring, grab-and-eat items that require absolutely 0 prep and 0 cooking decisions. Just open, eat, and you're done.
This sets up a fascinating chronological case study of the first week. We're going to look at 3 major milestones. Day 3's midnight craving, Day 5 where autopilot engages, and a massive hurdle on Day 6 with the Uber Eats temptation. Tracking these mental hurdles is just so interesting because it shows exactly how the brain fights back.
So, on Day 3, that dreaded midnight craving hit hard. The creator opened the fridge at midnight, stared into the abyss for 2 whole minutes, and realized past them had completely sabotaged present them. No leftover pizza, no ice cream. They were actually furious at themselves. But they grabbed an apple and just ate it standing up in the kitchen. Not because they actually wanted an apple, but simply because it was quite literally the only option available. The system was working.
I just have to share this funny little detail about the creator's mindset here. They bought pre-washed salad greens specifically because they outright refused to learn how to wash lettuce. They literally asked, "Do you just run water on it? Soak it? I've never looked this up and I refuse to start now." It brilliantly illustrates why buying pre-washed 0 decision items is a cornerstone of this method. If there is even a tiny bit of friction, you just won't eat it.
But then Day 6 hit, and it was rough. This was the peak willpower struggle. The creator looked at chicken breast and broccoli for the 4th day in a row and wanted anything that didn't taste like responsibility. They literally had their phone in hand, Uber Eats open, seriously considering spending $40 on delivery. And the only thing that stopped them? The crushing guilt of having just thrown away perfectly good junk food a few days prior. So they closed the app and reluctantly ate the chicken.
Which brings us to Section 2, Surviving Autopilot Eating,
when healthy becomes boringly normal. This middle phase is where the real magic actually happens. Healthy eating stops being this conscious, draining battle and just becomes an automatic habit. By day 10, the meals were anything but glamorous. Our creator microwaved some frozen broccoli, threw some salt on it, and literally ate it straight out of the plastic container. Was it Instagram-worthy? Definitely not. But it perfectly illustrates how eating had become a strictly functional action rather than an emotional one. They didn't have to decide if they felt like eating healthy, they just ate what was there.
And then came day 11, the absolute critical danger zone, the bad day at work. The creator arrived home at 9 p.m., completely exhausted. Basically, everything that could go wrong that day did. All they wanted in the world was comfort food. This is the exact moment most diets fail, right? Because you feel you genuinely, truly deserve to break the rules.
But they didn't have the option to break those rules because the junk just wasn't in the house. So as the creator hilariously put it, I ate yogurt like it personally offended me. I absolutely love this quote. It shows that when you rely on environment design, even an angry, highly emotional, stress-fueled binge is just a serving of Greek yogurt. Now we arrive at the climax of this whole 30-day journey. Section 3, the ultimate party test, Week 3's pizza crisis.
So the creator was invited to a party, walked in, and boom, there it was, the party spread. Pizza, beer, chips on the coffee table, someone even brought cookies. At first, they stood in the corner trying really hard to ignore it, but eventually, they made a deliberate choice to indulge. They weren't going to sit in the corner eating carrots while everyone else had fun. They wanted to just be normal. So they had maybe 4 slices of pizza, a beer, some chips, and a cookie.
But of course, that night, the massive guilt set in. They couldn't sleep. They felt like they had completely ruined 2 weeks of hard work. They were expecting the dreaded psychological spiral. You know the one, where one party exception completely breaks your streak, so you figure, well, might as well give up, which inevitably leads to ordering midnight Uber Eats for the next 3 days straight.
But the next morning, they walked into their kitchen expecting an absolute crime scene and experienced a massive paradigm shift. The twist, the kitchen was still completely empty of junk food. The spiral was quite literally impossible. Even if they wanted to keep eating garbage, they would have to get dressed, leave the apartment, go to a store, buy it, and bring it all the way back. And the creator admits they're simply way too lazy for that. The system pulled them back automatically.
Which naturally brings us to Section 4, Environment over Discipline. The system always wins.
By week 4, synthesizing all these core findings, the creator had a profound realization. They were no longer white-knuckling through their cravings. They weren't fighting themselves anymore because their kitchen was doing all the heavy lifting. The physical and mental benefits were undeniable. Yes, they lost a few pounds, but the real victory was internal. They stopped obsessively thinking about food at 10 p.m., there were 0 3 p.m. energy crashes, they had way more energy overall, and they slept so much better. They noted that simply feeling functional and normal, rather than feeling like garbage all the time, was the absolute greatest victory of this entire experiment.
So how can we use this? Let's break this entire explainer down into an actionable framework for you. It really is 3 foolproof steps. Step 1, remove the junk. All of it. Don't negotiate with yourself. Step 2, stock the basics. Get grab-and-go items that require 0 brain power. Step 3, let autopilot do the rest. Just eat what's there, even if you're angry about it.
This whole thing is captured perfectly in one simple quote. Willpower runs out, systems don't. This is the central thesis of our source material. The creator also mentioned tracking 14-day streaks with a big red X on a physical calendar to visually lock in this habit. It just proves that once a system is visually and physically in place, discipline takes a total back seat.
I want to leave you with one final provocative question to chew on. Is your kitchen fighting you or working for you? Right now, if you're relying entirely on willpower, tired you is going to lose that fight every single night. But if you make one afternoon change to your environment, you never have to negotiate with junk food again. It's the laziest, yet hands down most effective way to change your life.